Good morning, guys. Welcome back to Heiko Shaves. It's day for another shave. I haven't shaved in 3.5 days, 4 days, so it really needs to come off. And we still have a soap and an aftershave that we haven't tried. This was part of the shipment from Bill that he so generously sent to me, Ariana Evans Woods and Spices. This is a little bit more woodsy, a little bit more spicy. It really has a little bit of a spicy note to it, but other than that, it's relatively floral, kind of fresh, kind of clean, and not overly scented, so not super strong. And the aftershave, I haven't even taken the wrapper off. I should have done that. Shelton, Connecticut is where Ariana Evans is located. We just recently did here we go. We just did a shave with another Ariana Evans package or combo. And they do put out some great products. This is very, very well matched with the soap. Of course, a little bit more powerful as you would expect of a aftershave. 5 ounces in a proper glass bottle with a screw-on cap and then the reducer in there, so you can pour it into your hand without accidentally dumping out the entire bottle. I looked at the ingredient list here briefly. So this is a tallow-based soap. Like I said, they are located in Shelton, Connecticut, and it really kind of started out as a hobby, and then some job problems arose, and then they turned full soap maker professional. They have grown their business and have gotten really popular. Ariana Evans is a mainstay now in the artisan soap making and shaving product manufacturing. So I have this new set of soap and aftershave, but I wanted to combine that with something old. And I have noticed that I haven't really used my vintage Gillette razors all that much. And oftentimes people jump to, the more popular ones, the Fat Boy or the Slim, the adjustable ones, the ones that are a little bit rarer. But there is a whole host of razors that Gillette used to make until they completely stopped making safety razors. And one of the largest segment of the razors that they used to make are probably the twist to open, or they would call it a Super Speed. And they had all kinds of different models. Here's a aluminum handle with a black plastic tip. And this one here is if I can read this, W4. A W4 would be fourth quarter of 1951. And I have a whole bunch of them. So 1951, and then this the next one here is a Z, so that's 1953. Different handle design, not a plastic tip anymore, but overall fairly similar. Then we have the flare tip, twist to open or super speed, and this one here is A. A would be 1955. Then we have a red tip. That's a C, that's 1957, yes. Then we have a blue tip, which was a little bit milder twist to open or super speed, and pretty popular with the ladies, I guess. And that's an E, so an E is then 1959. This also has an aluminum handle, but it does have the flare tip, just like the other, like the red tip and the normal silver flare tip here. Overall, they had really many different models. They produced them pretty long, from the early 50s to, when did they officially start with a twist to open? The twist to open, I guess they had a few twist to opens. I don't have any of those really early ones. At least Razor Emporium says so, that they had a twist to open in 1934 through 1941. I have none of those, and mine are all from the 50s to the 70s. The last two I have are those beauties here. Black anodized, I think, aluminum handle with a silver flare tip, and this is an R and a T. So the T would be the last one I have, and these are pretty much in factory brand new conditions. They probably have been used. I just cleaned them up. There is absolutely no plating loss or anything. They are really nice. And the T would be, the last year that I own is a 73. They continued on, at least in accordance to Razor Emporium's list to 1974. So this is second to the last year, and it's really nice and shiny. I have 2 of those, and I kind of romanticize that. I'm going to give my boys each one of those, you know, when they get to the point where they need to shave. These are really nice. So this is not an old grungy one that you find at a flea market. Really nice. The one I want to focus on today is the red tip, which is in construction, you know, the same as some of the silver tips. There were so many different handle models here. You can see the knurling is different. Even the thickness is a little different. The red tip is the more aggressive version of the Super Speed. And yeah, I just recently took this on a trip and shaved with it. And I was like, oh, this is actually pretty nice when you have a little bit more growth in your face. So the red tip here, what did I say? What year this was? A C. C is from, some people probably memorize that. 1957. So this puppy is pretty old, huh? We're coming up on 70 years. 2 more years and we're 70 years old. And overall, it's in pretty good shape. It's not great. I mean, there is a little bit of some oxidation going on and some plating loss and discoloration, but overall, it's a pretty nice one. And like I said, I have a whole host of those here, different variations. They are all fairly similar. The outliers are the blue tip, which is milder, and then the red tip, which is a little bit more aggressive. And we're going to combine this with a Gillette Silver Blue. I don't have much experience with those blades. Do not wipe blade. That's interesting. So the wrapper here says do not wipe. They are double wrapped. Yeah, they're double. So you have a paper outside just for the advertisement, and then you have a little wax paper to protect, well, keep the packaging from being cut by the blades, and also the wax coating on some of those blades just to hold them in place inside the packaging. So there are a couple little dabs of wax on there. I don't even know where I got the package and how old those blades are. They might be a little bit older. Nobody does double wrapping anymore because of costs, obviously. So twist to open or super speed. Super speed because it's so super fast to load them. You just drop in a blade and then you tighten it up until you can't tighten it anymore. And this one here is, yeah, really nicely lined up. There is no bends. Nobody has ever dropped it except me just recently, but I caught it with my foot. You know, when you drop something, you always automatically try to kick it or touch it with your foot so it doesn't hit the floor. I did that with this one here just recently. Anyways, so let's do prep work here. We're gonna use the Ariana Evans Woods and Spices and scoop out a little bit into my blue timeless shave bowl here, made in Ohio by Timeless. This is injection molded, if I'm not completely mistaken. So not 3D printed or anything, like proper manufacturing process, injection molded. And it's not made in China. They make this in-house in Ohio. Timeless, they are a proper machining company. They didn't start out with razors. They were making other parts. And then they decided, oh, why don't we make some razors? And then why don't we make a shave bowl? And additionally to that, I want to use my Timeless aluminum handle. It's an adjustable brush, so you can open this up. In here is a rubber collet, if we can wiggle it loose. This rubber collet is the piece that holds onto a knot. Here's the collet, and they give you different sizes. This one here is a 24 millimeter. I think they go from 18 all the way through 27 or 30. So you get a whole selection of those collets, and then you can pick whatever knot you want and put it back in there. And then the 2 pieces here, they clamp down on that rubber, and the rubber in turn clamps down on the knot here. And nice knot, I like it. Very soft, but you know, kind of some backbone. So that's also made by Timeless. It's anodized, it's billet aluminum, really nice, hefty. Since we're talking about heft, let's weigh our Super Speed red tip here. Weighs 67.9 grams. The plating in here is nickel. This is standard Gillette plating in nickel. The cool thing about all these vintage razors is that you can really preserve them for a very, very long time. So if you have one from your grandfather and it's a little grungy, just send it into Razor Emporium. They can completely strip this off the old plating. Then they polish it up and then they replate it for you and then it looks like brand new. They even have found paint that matches the old color. They can repaint those tips. And then you have pretty much a brand new razor. You preserve a piece of history. You can collect those. They're fairly inexpensive depending on what model it is and what year it is. Some years are harder to come by than others. You can maybe find your birth year. You know, me, 1975. I don't think I have a 1975 Gillette. But yeah, so pretty cool and fairly inexpensive. And even as a beginner, you could buy a normal silver flare tip, Super Speed, and try it. And if that's too aggressive, then you find a blue tip, which is a little milder, or you shave with this for a while and then you're like, ah, man, I wish I would have a little bit more aggression. And then you find yourself a red tip and then you already have a 3 razor collection. And I think that's pretty cool. Yeah, these have been, you know, around and serving the shaving community for so long and they're really popular. And we're going to shave with this puppy here today with a red tip Super Speed. All right, we have soap in here, we have a blade in there, we have our really nice looking, I like the blue, I like the smooth finish, and I like the length of this handle, so you don't dip your fingers into the soap all the time. And now we're gonna put on some pre-shave. Let's do Paraso White. Paraso White, pretty creamy. It's the sensitive skin version. And we're just rubbing it in. Yeah, like that. And that means we're already good to go to start lathering. Oh, I forgot to fill my emesis basin. Forgive me for the sink noises. I usually try to avoid that. I just forgot to fill my emesis basin, but that was pretty quick, right? All right, so soap is in here. We don't need to pre-soak. This is a synthetic knot, even though it has this nice curly looking bristle going on here. And we're going right into this nice shave bowl. The shave bowl at the bottom has those ribs that kind of help out with agitation of the soap. So it makes it easier to really get a good lather going. It also holds on to the soap. The soap is kind of semi-soft, relatively soft to scoop out. Yeah, there's definitely a little woodsy scent and some spicy notes as well. A little peppery maybe. I still kind of suck with my scent description, I admit it. It's probably easier for you to go to Ariana Evans, and I will put a link down below and just read their eloquent scent descriptions, and then you can take a look at the ingredients. But good stuff, good stuff. And Bill, again, thank you for sending this over. That is very generous of you. He was worried that I would be getting sucked into only razor reviews and not doing any soaps or aftershaves. And so he sent me some fancy stuff here. All right, we're slowly building up. I keep adding water every few seconds. So you want a whipping cream consistency, nice fine bubbles, maybe a little bit of a sheen to it. That's when you know that you're pretty much there. You have to what they call hydrating the lather. So you're looking for a sheen in the surface. That means that it has enough water in it. But then once you put it on your face, your skin will immediately take up some of that moisture. So what I like to do is always put a bit of water on my face before I transfer the lather into my face, just to help it out a little bit. So here we go. A lot of people do the in-between finger, you know, how elastic the lather is and all that. I am not a lather professional. I just lather so that I can shave. It's also pretty amazing how some people with the smallest amount of soap can whip up this massive amount of lather. I usually use way too much, which is perfect. All right, look at that. And now I'm always feeling or waiting for skin reactions to the product. I mean, we already have pre-shave on my skin, so there is a little bit of some protection from the soap, but I don't feel anything. No burning sensation or anything. I usually are pretty compatible with tallow soaps, but you know, there are companies, large scale soap production, they put a lot of preservatives and other items into the soap, and then you get a little bit of a tingle going on, and I don't necessarily care for that. That's why I do like artisan soaps, because smaller batches manufacturing, they have a little bit of a shelf life, so soaps can go bad. But the artisans usually keep the ingredient list to a minimum and not, you know, put extra preservatives and chemicals and for overseas transport and all that stuff. So I really appreciate that. All right, we're lathered up. Let's grab our red tip Gillette Super Speed here. And we're just gonna go with the grain. You can hear they're pretty noisy. They sound pretty tinny because the doors and all the parts of this razor are literally stamped sheet metal. Brass, by the way, it's all brass. And then they are nickel plated. Well, the Gillette Silver Blue, that seems to be a really nice blade. It doesn't give me any tugging, and it goes right through all the stubbles here. That's pretty good. They are pretty good. Wow. Found another good blade. What do you guys think about the Silver Blue? Are they part of your selection? Are they still being manufactured? I know there was a little bit of a shifting going on when the whole Russia-Ukraine thing started, that Gillette was pulling out and they were closing a manufacturing plant manufacturing facility in Russia. I have no idea where those Silver Blues are made. Let's see if it says that on the box here. Gillette Company, Boston, Massachusetts. Made by Petersburg Production International, St. Petersburg, Russia. So that was the facility that suspended production. I think that's what I heard. I don't know if they are maybe back in production. And I have no idea if the Silver Blues are still being sold, but if I find them, I will put them down in the description for you guys. Yeah, this is a really decently sharp blade. It doesn't give me any tugging. What I like about all the Gillette twist to open razors, they are kind of round and molded because it's stamped, not machined. So it's much easier to get those really smooth radii into the surface here. Blade tabs, by the way, stick out. So you can see there is quite a significant blade gap as well, since this is the more aggressive version of the Super Speed. I probably could have looked up what the blade gap is. There's so many discussions going on forums about the different versions and the different years of Gillette razors. Since I found a few little conflicting information, I decided to omit that. Yeah, very nice, very nice. Shaves really well. I can feel a little bit of blade. I would say this is for sure. Oh yeah, this is a positive exposure razor, which means if you create a line between the comb, close comb, and the top, and the blade protrudes beyond that line, it's a positive exposure, and I'm literally shaving the cardstock here. So this is positive exposure with a decent blade gap as well. So this is, yeah, it's not for the super faint of heart. I wouldn't call this a extremely aggressive razor, but it definitely has a little bit more efficiency built in. And first pass, and we're almost clean, which is good. So this is maybe for the more experienced user. I would maybe start out with a normal, relatively normal silver flare tip, or any of the other super speed models that you see here. They're all fairly similar, I think. The experts out there will correct me if I'm wrong. Or if you really want something super mild, find yourself a blue tip. Razor Emporium, by the way, they buy old ones and then they refurbish them themselves in-house and sell them on their webpage. So check out Razor Emporium, link will be down below. All right, let's lather up again. Grab a little bit more water. Dip into our shave bowl here one more time. Yeah, the scent of the soap is it's very pleasant. It's not overpowering at all. It's not too strong. I have no skin reactions to the soap. That's always preferred. Yeah, a little woodsy, a little spicy, a little, herbally. Not too strong. Nice and creamy, tallow soap. Very good. Here we go. And let's do a across the grain with our Gillette Super Speed red tip. Very good. Oh, little bump down there. Little pimple. It's old man puberty. Yeah, very good. Yeah, it is a little on the spicy side, the little red tip here. It's not a slouch. Very good. Good result. I can already tell there's barely anything left. Very good. Great. Let's do a quick inspection here. Yeah, this is pretty close to BBS after just 2 passes. And I gotta say, those silver blue razor blades are pretty amazing. Not a single tugging event here. And all that is gone. There's this little bit left here in this corner. I could probably do a little pickup here. Let's do a little pickup. Down on my neck, as you guys probably noticed, I went down the hill on the first pass, which is really against the grain down there. That's just how my stubbles grow down there. And then on the second pass, I went with the grain, and that usually does it for me. Yeah, very nice, very nice. Very good result, guys, very good result. So my recommendation is if you're interested in vintage stuff and you want to preserve them, get yourself a grungy one and send them into Razor Emporium. Or if you want to spend some more money, and you can, buy yourself a refurbished one from Razor Emporium, or go on eBay. That's where I bought most of mine from, and find yourself a really nicely preserved example. Or maybe there's even one in original packaging, never used, and then just start shaving with them. These are, as I said, brass with nickel plating, or some of the parts are aluminum, and then aluminum tends to do that, kind of get uglified over the years if you don't keep them dry and clean. So these definitely always get a brush cleanup. I have my razor cleaning toothbrush and some dish soap always sitting here, and just clean them up and then dry them off. Let them sit out for a few days before you put them away again. Okay, and like I said, you could start out with a silver tip, and then see if you like it, and if you want more aggressive, find yourself one of those. Really, really nice. They are definitely underrated, and I really enjoy them. Don't shave with them very often because I have so many other razors to try out. But yeah, I think this worked out. And the product so far here, Woods and Spices by Ariana Evans, the soap, did a really good job and did give me no skin irritations. All right, let's rinse off. Very nice, very nice. Got my t-shirt all wet now. Yeah, good shave, good shave. After 4 days of not shaving, suddenly being so clean, it's really nice. All right, and now we're going to splash some Ariana and Evans into my hand. Don't forget to shake the bottle a little bit. If there are no emulsifiers in it, the watery and the oily substances will separate in the bottle. That is normal. That's to be expected. Oh yeah, oh yeah. A little alcohol burn. There's everything in this aftershave that your skin might need. So ingredient: aloe barbadensis leaf juice, alcohol, Rosa Jallica flower water, rose hydrosol, glycerin. Very good, very good. Long list of things, and most of them are, you know, the stuff that makes your skin feel nice afterwards. So I can feel a little bit of glycerin in there for sure. That's the oily residue that you feel in your fingers. That's good. And alcohol is in there, so it disinfects, sucks the little bleeders together, and perfect. And the scent is really nice. I don't know if my wife's gonna like it. She likes the fresher. Her definition of fresh is different from my definition of fresh for sure. So whenever I think I found a really fresh scented aftershave or soap, then she's like, oh, this is way too, you know, masculine, or not masculine, but way too musky, whatever that means. Anyways, good shave. I will maybe later on put some aftershave balm over top of this, just to, you know, rehydrate the skin. But for now, we're good. I have absolutely no bleeders. I have no irritation, and everything that we used today did a great job. And the red tip got another moment in the spotlight. Really nice. Old razors, almost 70 years old. Get yourself some of those before they are all used up or in collections and nobody ever sells them anymore. Alrighty guys, that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this vintage plus brand new product shave. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for some more, and I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.